The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Well, welcome to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show host. You can hear my shows all over the great state of Alabama from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN in North Alabama. And then from 10 until 11, I'm on Talk 99.5 in Birmingham, News Radio 1440 a.m. in Montgomery. And then you can hear that show again at 10 p.m. On WVNN in Huntsville. With me, as always, Mecca Musick. She is the CEO of 256today.com. Smart news for smart people. And we've got a lot happening today. Andrew Sorrell will be with us. He is the state auditor, His Excellency, the counter of desks. We'll talk with him
That's not an official title. I just want everyone to know.
That is not his official
Dale's title.
But that's what he does. He counts desks. Anyway, we'll talk with him about that and then some other important things happening here in the state of Alabama as well. I've got a parting shot for you. We'll talk about what's going to happen with Israel and Gaza war. And that's probably where this is continuing to go. But right now, let's go ahead and get to the 2-minute warning. All right, Mecca, we had a lot of stuff happening this week. We talked a little bit about the Israeli-Palestine conflict. That came up during some of the confirmation hearings. We've heard a lot during these confirmation hearings. And boy, have they built this thing up as the thing that was going to be the first little way to ding the incoming Trump administration. But Pam Bondi for AG, Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. You had Pete Hegseth for the Secretary of Defense. They didn't really ding these guys. They got through this relatively unscathed. There were speeches and, hey, here's a horrible thing you did. What if you did this? What if you did that? I just thought to myself,
I like your take on how these things work.
That's how they work. And then it seemed like Pete Hegseth, the guy who they seemed to think was the one they were going to get more than anyone, the one they spent all the energy on in the media and their Democrats, he just came out seeming kind of fun. They have a whole list. They're like, you got drunk at a Fox News party. They had to carry you upstairs. I'm like, that sounds awesome.
Did you see, though, it was so funny when, it was Tuberville was literally chuckling when the guy next to him was being like, all these senators know you have cast votes when you've been drinking.
Mark McElwain out of Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That was hilarious. Just because, it's fun to watch our guys and watch Tuberville. I thought that was
And they know, by the way, that's true. They'll go out and they'll do stuff and they'll come back. I went to a State of the Union, and I was behind the scenes there, and I was walking around with Congressman Brooks, and he doesn't drink.
All right.
But a lot of those guys were.
Oh, yeah.
And I was. And so there was a lot of that going on, and I was like, okay, this is very interesting. I didn't really expect that part. Anyway, the point is, nobody's in peril here. The other two that they thought were going to be in peril, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, there's been no conversation about that. They focused all their energy on Pete Hegseth.
They did.
And then nothing. It was a big nothing.
I mean, if you watch the some of at least part of the Bondi hearings and stuff like that, especially the Brit exchange with her, that's gotten a lot of traction.
I mean, but you're not going to take her down for that.
No, of course not. But I'm just saying, I think that one also rates a lot of interest just because of her demeanor and how she presented herself and worked.
That whole thing boils down to this. They ask her, hey, you're going to be Trump's AG, right? She says, yeah. And they say, are you going to use the Justice Department to come after your political enemies? No, of course not. And that's exactly. And she's like, well, and I think Adam Schiff was like, that'd be terrible. It's like, have you not been watching the news? Like, what? Are you not paying attention to why we're at the position we're in right now? Good Lord. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about crime here in the state of Alabama. There's a lot of it, apparently, in certain places, and there seem to be some plans in place to change this. They're coming from different places. Guys like Will Ainsworth, the lieutenant governor of the state of Alabama, he wants to have a conversation about crime and potentially the ability of the governor or the attorney general to appoint a police chief to areas that have high crime rates. Reed Ingram has a bill, and Garland Gudger as well wants to talk about illegal immigration. So it appears to me, they don't really want to be talking about lottery and stuff like this. They want to be talking about things where they think they can actually get something done here. The question is, you have all this weight coming behind criminal justice reform and things like this. The immigration thing is interesting because in Florida, Ron DeSantis was like, yeah, we're coming for the immigrants. I mean, he made it very clear, and I expect to see that kind of work its way into the Alabama legislature next time around. But crime seems to be a focus that they're talking about here. The question I always have is, are they going to take the step to where they essentially take over police departments? And if they do, who's going to pay for that?
No, and I agree. Crime is definitely going to be a focus in the upcoming legislative session. But, we've had Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter on this show. We've had Representative Rex Reynolds.
Who has a background in law enforcement.
Exactly, a law enforcement background. And they have hesitated to push it that far. But they have indicated that this will be a focus and there will be measures taken.
I think what they want, and based on if you look at what Reed Ingram has suggested, what they want is Birmingham to say, help us. Like, that's what they want. They want Randall Woodfin, the mayor of that city, to stop looking at his shoes and looking at how dapper he's dressed and say, okay, and that's a self-reflection on his part, and say, help me do what you guys are doing in Montgomery. What they've done there with the Attorney General's office and Aaliyah and all these other places is actually making a difference. Birmingham's just sitting back and watching. And it doesn't really seem like they want that same involvement or partnership, interference, I don't know what you'll call it. But here's one thing I've learned from this Alabama legislature. They will allow you to do your own thing until they don't.
Yeah.
And they'll play in the libraries.
That's accurate.
They'll play in the schools. Yeah. They'll do all these things. I think they would prefer not to, but they will.
They will.
And I think
I agree with that.
I think that's where we're at right now.
assessment.
All right. Let's talk about breastfeeding here for a second. Even though I've never done it, I mean, maybe when I was little, I guess I did. But at this point, this has become an issue because of some judges in Jefferson County. And listen, here's how you solve this issue. The judges involved come out and apologize and say we shouldn't have done that. If you're nursing a 3-month-old baby and it's on in your hands at the time, we're going to let you out of jury duty. That's all you got to do. But that's not what happened. In Jefferson County, a mother came in with a 3-month-old who was being breastfed, and they would not make any accommodations for her. She called ahead of time. Then when she got there, they took her and they put her in a dirty room that they had put someone else in who had been breastfeeding, and that person wrote like some note on the board that had been in there for at least a year, and it had been half wiped away. The room was dirty. The whole thing is a self-inflicted wound by the Jefferson County Courthouse. And this is one of those things where the legislature goes, should we get involved? And I've talked to a lot of legislators about this. Breastfeeding moms? Yeah, they're going to get involved. What do you think this is about? What is this?
I agree with you. This should be a common sense issue. It is ridiculous that this would happen. And it is embarrassing. And she does deserve an apology. Does there need to be a law? Well, if common sense fails to prevail, perhaps so.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I talked to people who've been through this. They'll have people come and say, I have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. They're like, okay, you're out. And they'll let you out. But having a baby with you, I guess what they're afraid of is a bunch of people like just walking in with babies and be like, I can't do it. I got this baby. I got to do this whole
Where are they getting these babies?
They're just outside. If you don't want to create a market, I mean, it's a good idea. Get a bunch of babies, stand outside and start renting them out to the people that come in. They do it when people cross the border. So we'll just go ahead and do it there. And we'll do that there at the courthouse and let people get out of jury duty. Does there need to be a law? No. But again, when you find these things happening and there is no realization that, wow, this is a really stupid thing that we did. We should have done something smarter than this. And there's no apology or any of these things.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
And by the way, what a perfect thing to hand a legislator. I mean,
slam dunk.
I mean, who's going to vote against this? I mean, and Andrew Sorrell actually offered up a bill about this, and we'll talk with him in a little bit. And it didn't really go anywhere. But I think this might be a different situation. But things happen and time moves on, and we'll move on from this. Let's move on and talk a little bit about TikTok. My only interaction I've ever had with TikTok is destroying the lives of someone who used TikTok to come after me. That's the only interaction I've had, and I'm ready for TikTok to go. I am. I don't know why Trump is trying to save this thing. It does not make any sense to me. You can't go around and say, hey, this is a Chinese spy app, but the people out there shoot her like me, so I should go ahead and allow it. One of the more amusing things about it, just a little side note, is there's a TikTok-like app called Red Note, and it's also run by the Red Chinese. And that's where people are going and saying, oh, we'll just use this one. It's like, I don't think you understand the bill that they passed, because that's going to be an issue too, because you have essentially a spying app that they have decided to do away with. And it looks like it's going away. The courts doesn't seem willing to step in. It looked
based on the
bipartisan, it was passing.
Based on the comments and questions by the Supreme Court, It does not look like they are favoring TikTok in any way in this case. However, you're asking why is Trump trying to save this? Because in the past 4 years, he's decided it is beneficial to him politically.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
they like him now.
Yeah.
I mean, so of course he's going to like
nuts.
it. But the way he's going about, of course, the Supreme Court, could come in, that could have movement on there, or he could issue an executive order to delay the ban. Do you think that's going to happen?
I mean, it could. I don't know why he would do this. This is a win for him, and it's a win for the country. All you have to do is go look at what ByteDance does in China and what they allow here. Here, we have fast food fistfights. In China, it's like chess tournaments.
Well, not just that, though.
No,
it's
just
not just that. It's all okay. That is.
That's a good enough reason.
It might be, but there's just so many other concerns as far as
the spying and all the other stuff.
It's pretty wild when you look into it. So you don't have TikTok?
Like, we'll give all our data to Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk.
Oh, see, and that's true.
Like that.
Because
that's
the same thing. A lot of this data harvesting is going on across all the social media platforms.
Right, but what's happening here is they're in a foreign adversary, and that's really the problem here. And it was bipartisan. Trump was calling for it at the time. Biden was calling for it at the time. And here was the good.
Do you think it hurts Trump that he doesn't want to ban it now?
Anyone that's using TikTok to the point where it might matter, their brain's rotted already. So it doesn't really matter. But here's the interesting thing about it. TikTok was given an opportunity to sell, like to Elon Musk and a bunch of other people. And they didn't want to do that because they want to give their algorithm. That's another sign. That's another sign that maybe we should just let this thing go, and hopefully they decide they're going to.
So does it get banned?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think this thing is over. I just don't understand why Trump even wants to save it. When we come back, Andrew Sorrell will be with us. We'll talk with him. He is the state auditor of the state of Alabama. And we'll talk to him about this breastfeeding thing. He was involved in that conversation and more. How many desks does the state have? We'll ask him. Stay tuned. It's Alabama Politics This Week.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Join the Fox 54 sports team for local highlights and insights. Stream Fox 54 Sports Extra anytime on Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom, Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improve range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Here's an important message from the U.S. Med Diabetes Solutions Center. If you have diabetes, you know the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce your pain right away. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. Call the U.S. Med Diabetes Solutions Center to learn about this groundbreaking new CGM technology. If you have Medicare or private insurance, call to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. U.S. Med is the #1 rated supplier on Google and Facebook reviews. So call us right now to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. U.S. Med. Better service. Better care. What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Get Fox 54 Plus everywhere you stream. Watch local newscasts live or on your schedule, plus exclusive specials like Weekend Review, a recap of the week's top stories. Fox 54 Plus, live, local, and always on.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Mecca Musick.
And this week we have State Auditor Andrew Sorrell with us, who was also a former representative from Northwest Alabama. Thank you so much for being here today.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
Tell us a little bit about the upcoming legislative session. What are you watching out for?
Well, there's going to be several big things to watch out for this session. I mean, number one, does gambling come back? And if it does that eat up the whole session again? We're going to see, is there any effort to expand school choice this year? I don't know. So we'll see. It should be an interesting session.
Let me ask you a question. You're a state auditor, but you're a former legislator. You've been over there. You've seen it all happen. When you're not counting desks, which is, I assume, all the state auditor does, when you're not doing that, do you find yourself wanting to get more involved in the political side of this? I know you have the platform, but is it appropriate, and is that something you want to do? You want to voice your opinion, lobby for legislation? Are you doing that?
I think it's always appropriate to voice your opinion. I call my legislator all the time, my replacement, Bubba Underwood in District 3. I call him on. Now, every time I've called him, he's already voting the way I want him to. But a lot of the legislation I was not able to get passed when I was in the State House, I still try to find sponsors to carry those bills. And in fact, I was successful with that last year with one particular bill that got all the way through dealing with precious metals.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about something else you've been involved in here recently, the situation in Jefferson County. Yes. There's two things that happened here. One, you had a new issue where at the county courthouse you had a person who was breastfeeding, and they said, hey, you still got to come in here, you got to serve, and all this other stuff.
Right.
You had a piece of legislation that would have forbid that from happening before, didn't get anywhere.
It didn't, and I actually carried it 2 years. So in 2021, it was House Bill 369, and in 2022, I believe it was House Bill number 128, and that's the time it actually went to committee, was in 2022. Now, in 22, my wife, as you remember, had just given birth. We had Liberty, we were breastfeeding, and Liberty would not take a bottle. Mm-hmm. And my wife posed a theoretical question to me: what would happen if I got a jury summons and I was breastfeeding? And I said, Hannah, obviously you would be excused from jury duty. No one's going to force you to go in. I'm sure Alabama law would exempt you from jury duty if you're breastfeeding. But just to be sure, I went and looked it up. No, it does not exempt you.
What a random question. I don't talk about that stuff at the dinner table with my wife, but all right.
No, I think it's a very valid question. And my kids were the same way. They wouldn't take a bottle, and I mean, there were people like, oh, if you wait long enough, they'll take a bottle. I'm like, okay, no.
Well, it doesn't
but
work
it is
that
an
way
issue.
necessarily. It's different.
So what happened then with those bills?
So I introduced the bill in 21. It went absolutely nowhere. In 2022, I made a bigger push on it, and I was able to get it up in the CC&E, Constitution, Campaigns, and Elections Committee in the state legislature. Now, once I went in there and was presenting this bill, first of all, I think some of the legislators like, Sorrell, where does this come from? This is not the normal kind of bill that you were carrying. But I explained kind of the situation, and then the first question I got was, do you have any examples of where this is actually happening? And I said, well, no, I don't have a big list of names off the top of my head or anything. And they said, I think you have a solution in search of a problem. I remember that phrase in particular, which really upset me, because I said there's 5 million people in the state of Alabama. This is happening, to someone. And also, you don't wait until there's a deadly wreck at an intersection before you put up a stoplight. Some of these things can be done preemptively. The second objection I got was, Sorrell, any reasonable judge would obviously excuse a nursing mother from service. Like, this is completely unnecessary. Why would you even think we need to bring this bill? And they voted my bill down in committee. And I walked out of there, and there were several very angry women that knew I had that bill in the committee. Very angry women, very upset that bill had failed. And I patiently waited 4 years, and Candace Brown posted her story on Facebook, had 1,400 shares last time I looked at it. One of my friends tags me in the post because they knew I'd carried the bill. I connected with Candace and I said, we're going to get it done this time because now we do have a story.
Yeah, you got that story, and I think it's probably going to move forward. I've talked to a lot of legislators. I'm sure you have as well.
Well, I have, and I've got my friend Representative Susan DuBose is going to carry it in the House, and my friend Senator April Weaver just agreed yesterday to carry it in the Senate. So we've got bill sponsors in both chambers.
Are you doing a little bit like I told you so to them, or no? Are you being better than that?
No,
You're
I'm
being
not
better
doing
than
that.
Okay.
I remember the legislators who said this wasn't necessary. I'm not going to.
He's trying to get it passed.
No, that's the mature thing.
This
I
isn't a
support
time
that.
to be petty. I just want to see the bill go
Spike
through.
the football afterwards. let them go ahead and do it. But I think that it has some legs.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot happening here in the state of Alabama. Lots of talk about the governor potentially resigning. I'm not sure I buy that. Do you?
I don't think I do buy that. I'm pretty sure she's going to stay and finish out her term. But you never know. You get surprised in politics, you know. The more unlikely you think something is to happen sometimes, then it happens, you know. So we'll see. I think if it is going to happen, I think it would happen before legislative session begins. But we'll see.
Are you hearing any rumblings of that, or is that just made up by people like me?
I am hearing rumblings of that.
Okay.
I'm glad you said it like
well,
that.
I'm just saying. I'm being honest. I hear it. Yeah,
that doesn't mean they're true, but yes, we're all hearing the rumblings. But to be fair, I've been hearing those rumblings for the last 6 years as well.
I mean, I go to a basketball game and people go to me, "Hey, did you hear about the guy?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "No, I hear it all the time." I'm like, who are you? Why are you talking me about this? But it is being discussed.
Oh, as further, looking to the future, I would like to talk about you and your position, because also the further rumors are, of course, Ainsworth is going to run for governor, and then Wes Allen could possibly run for that one, and then you could possibly run for that one. Tell me.
You've heard those rumors.
I've heard those rumors as well. What do you think about
Wes
that?
Allen's pretty much confirmed, I think, at this point.
I don't think anybody's officially announced their intentions from Ainsworth on down. But I mean, your question, I think, is would I consider running for something higher if an opportunity presented itself? And the answer is clearly yes. I would consider that. There are other positions that I'm.
Look into that camera and announce.
So I'm not ready to announce. I can't announce anything until the people in the other positions decide what they're going to do. So I'm waiting on that. But am I looking at other opportunities? Yes. Would I be disappointed to serve another 4 years as state auditor? No, I would not. I'm blessed to be where I am. I enjoy the job. So I'm good to go either way here.
But you couldn't be AG.
You don't have to be an attorney to be AG in Alabama.
You're not going to win that race.
Sure.
But hey, listen,
I'm not running.
You and I have had this conversation multiple times about you're not going to win and then you win. So maybe I'm the wrong guy to ask about.
Our luck too many times.
Yeah.
Listen, we talked about the upcoming legislative session, but talk about the state auditor's office and what are some things you want to specifically tackle in that space.
There's one bill in particular that was introduced last year, Senator Andrew Jones and Representative Jamie Keel, and it strengthens the auditor's office, gives me a lot more authority over loss and theft of state property, creates a property investigations division, will allow me to send demand letters for repayment if people are negligent with the loss of state property. A lot of things that we need to do, and the bill made it out of committee in both chambers last year. In fact, it was in Senator Gudger's committee in the Senate. He co-sponsored it, helped me get it out of committee. I called him this past weekend, asked for his help getting it through the Senate. He said he loves the bill. He's going to help me get it through the Senate. So we're going to work in the Senate first and try to get it out down into the House early in session.
So, His Excellency, the counter of desks, how many desks does the state of Alabama
Well, last time I checked, there were 19,222. And I only checked, to be fair, though, because I knew you were going to ask. Those are only the desks that cost $500 or more.
Right.
Remember, anything under that, we don't track.
Right. Well, there we go. Look, you've been a very aggressive state auditor, no question about it. You've been involved in a lot of different things, and you definitely haven't just sat back and said, I'm going to count these desks. You're doing other things.
But he did count the desks for you.
He counted them on top of that, which is great. And I think that's great. So, we appreciate you coming on the program and coming over and speaking with us, and we'll definitely talk with you soon.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Mecca Musick is on her way out as well, which means the show gets way better. I've got a parting shot for you because I'm going to solve the Israel-Gaza thing here in just a second. Stay tuned. It's Alabama Politics this week.
Get Fox 54 Plus everywhere you stream. Watch local newscasts live or on your schedule, plus exclusive specials like Weekend Review, a recap of the week's top stories. Fox 54 Plus, live, local, and always on.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey, Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
What if you could make a free phone call and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Right now, you could be paying as high as 20% interest. Your new interest rate could be reduced to as low as 2.48%. You can refinance any existing car loan or leased car and save money every month. Take 5 minutes of your time right now. Make this free phone call and learn how to save hundreds of dollars a year by refinancing your existing car loan.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
Call 877-744-0750. That's 877-744-0750. 877-744-0750.
Here's an important message from the U.S. Med Diabetes Solutions Center. If you have diabetes, you know the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce your pain right away. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. Call the U.S. Med Diabetes Solutions Center to learn about this groundbreaking new CGM technology. If you have Medicare or private insurance, call to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. U.S. Med is the #1 rated supplier on Google and Facebook reviews. So call us right now to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. U.S. Med. Better service. Better care.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Join the Fox 54 sports team for local highlights and insights. Stream Fox 54 Sports Sector anytime on Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
Well, welcome back to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson. Thank you very much for being here. Before I get into the party shot, let me remind you, head on over to yellowhammernews.com. Sign up for my email blast. It's right there for you. The 7 things you should be talking about today. Also, plenty of videos up there for you as well. And I'm doing a sports update. So go to my Facebook page, The Dale Jackson, and you can see that as well every single day, Monday through Friday. Right now, though, let's go ahead and get to the party shot. The party shot this week is directed at all the people who want to try to take credit for what's happening with Israel and Hamas. Listen to me. There's nothing here to take credit for. There is nothing here to take credit for. Here's what has happened. You've released some hostages, and that's if this deal even takes place. There's lots of questions about that. But you've released some hostages and a ton of terrorists that will be back on the battlefield at some point in time. This thing is going to continue until they're wiped out, and then it will continue beyond that as well. As everyone right now is jockeying to either give credit or take credit, depending on where they are, I'm telling you this right now, 3 months from now, neither of these individuals, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, will be taking credit for this situation. They will be looking at this and they will be blaming the other guy for putting pressure on it. This is a situation that is going to require a lot more than just saying, hey, let's take a 7-week pause, release a bunch of bad guys, and then get some of the hostages back and just to remind you, a lot of these hostages are already dead on top of that as well. So there's Israeli politics to worry about. Give Trump credit. He took the Biden deal. He put pressure on the Israelis. He put pressure on Hamas by basically saying, I will come in and raise hell. And that motivated this particular deal. This is not the end deal, though. And I think people have to be honest about that. Thank you very much for watching and listening to Alabama Politics this week all over the great state of Alabama. We'll do it again next week. Thank you very much for being here.